Mexican fans.
And he's looking in very good shape. He's made his second pit stop now, actually his third pit stop really, on lap 55 he came in. He should be good to go. He's got 45 laps to go to the finish. That should be okay. That should be well within that car's reach. And as we said, the two Newman Haas cars have been in the pits. Also Kenny Breck, Oriol Servia and Tarzo Marquez, who is way back now in 14th place. His first pit stop, I think, was really slow. They must have had a problem there on Tarzo Marquez's first stop.
Gilles de Ferran, the championship points leader, leads the race here. 61 laps completed. Jimmy Vasser chases him in second. Juan Montoya is third. Paul Tracy fourth. Helio Castroneves fifth. Tony Kanaan in sixth. Then Fittipaldi, Moreno, and this man you're on board with, Fernandez, running in ninth place. Right behind him is Michael Andretti, and then it's Tagliani and Kenny Breck.
And in my mind, I have no doubt that Roger Penske has pull out enough of a lead, has Gilles de Ferran, in order to make another pit stop before the end of this race.
And the people they're worried about there, Jeremy, are these two guys as much as anybody. Roberto Moreno, and Moreno made a mistake, and now he's going to be passed by his teammate. That could prove to be very costly to Moreno. The loss of points that could accrue from that. Good move from Fernandez, mistake there from Moreno, and that's given him an opportunity to climb one place. It might only be 8th place, but with the fuel strategy these two are on, they are going to feature very strongly at the end, and that could have been a critical manoeuvre. Now, Fernandez gets past Jourdain. I don't know whether Moreno's mistake was because they got tied up there behind Jourdain. It could well have been. Didn't quite see the development of that, but whatever it was, Brazilian lost some speed, and the Mexican Fernandez managed to slip through, and the Mexican fans will be celebrating about that.
Yes, they will. And certainly he's running a pretty good pace now, is Adrian Fernandez. He should be able to reach the finish certainly in much better shape. Look at that battle there down the field. Well, there's Jourdain. Looks like Jourdain's got a problem once again. You know, he reached the finish last time out. His first finish in 9 races.
Well, he's not going to finish this one. Look at that. Look at the fire coming out of the back of Jourdain's car. And he's going to try and get out of the way and pull over, I think, where there's a safety car. So hopefully they won't have to pull out the yellows everywhere. Just give a local yellow and they'll pull that car behind the wall. So more disappointment for Michel Jourdain. And a bit of a it's all over with another mechanical non-finish. So that's the end of the day for him. Michael Andretti in 10th place, but in good shape, having made what should have been his final pit stop. But of course he did stall it, and if he hadn't stalled it then, he may well have been up in about 7th position at this point, which would have helped his cause. He chases after Roberto Moreno.
Yeah, he does, and it's certainly going to be a cost him dearly, that mistake. He's behind those Patrick Racing cars. He's not going to be able to find a way past them, so they're almost certainly going to gain some ground in the championship on this man, Michael Andretti, you should say. Now running in 10th place. Meanwhile, Gilles de Ferran absolutely flying at the front of the field, pulling away still at a second or more per lap.
Yes, 6.7 seconds now, the advantage for Gilles de Ferran over Jimmy Vasser, and that's because Gilles has to get on with it if he's going to have a chance of scoring well this afternoon by making another pit stop. Oh, Moreno into the pits now. This presumably is a problem here.
It must be a problem. What a disappointment for Roberto Moreno. I don't know whether he clipped the wall when he made that mistake or what, but he's coming now into the Patrick Racing pit.
This is disaster. He was second in the championship coming into this race. They weren't ready. It's something that was unexpected. It's a problem.
Look, his belts came undone. They're reaching into the cockpit there. It could be something as daft as that. I don't know. Maybe he, while he was scrambling around there trying to regain control, conceivably could have knocked the base. And what a disaster for poor Roberto Moreno.
That really is horrible news for him. And, well, you know, second place in the championship coming into this one, but that's going to drop him way down in spite of having driven absolutely perfectly so far, except that little mistake. Well, that's a surprise. Wonder what happened to Castroneves. We didn't see that. Try and look, see if there are any replays, but Castroneves, for whatever reason, has dropped down behind Kanaan, and you'll see him just ahead of Fittipaldi. There he is, Christian Fittipaldi, but just ahead of him, Helio Castroneves, now down in 6th place.
He seems to be up to speed now, so I don't know whether he... I don't think he had a spin. I don't know what happened. They certainly lost a lot of ground to the cars in front of him, and now just struggling to hold off Christian Fittipaldi. So it's all change here. Just reset it for you. We've still got Gilles de Ferran pulling away rapidly at the front of the field. Battle for second and third with Vasser and Montoya absolutely nose to tail. Tracy in 4th place, and Kanaan, then Castroneves. This battle here, Castroneves and Fittipaldi, and there behind them is the green, red and white car of Adrian Fernandez.
Another very rapid lap from Gilles de Ferran on that last one, a 61.4, fastest on the track at the moment by a big margin is Gilles de Ferran, and he's opened up an 8-second lead over Jimmy Vasser. Montoya bottled up behind Vasser, I think perhaps capable of going a bit quicker at this point in the race, because he's just done a 61.9 as opposed to Vassar's 62.1. So Montoya perhaps will now get the word that he should try and push to get into a clear second and stop de Ferran getting away so quickly. Now we gather that we're hearing from the pits that Castroneves maybe just playing the fuel game.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, there's no way he's going to reach the finish. I can't imagine what they're thinking. If that's really the case, I can't imagine that's the case. I mean, he came in and made his pit stop on lap 50, which is half distance, but there's a lot of yellow in the first part of the race, and that's a crazy gamble to pull. That's going to be that amount of yellow in the second half of the race. The first 12 laps of this race virtually were all under caution strategy. Meanwhile, no question in my mind, Gilles de Ferran's team, and it's Roger Penske that calls the shots for Gilles de Ferran. He's made absolutely the right call. Go for it, try and pull out as much as you can, and he's looking in very, very good shape. If he can continue at this rate, he's going to be looking very good in order to pull out enough of a gap and still make his pit stop and resume in the lead. I think he's looking awfully, awfully good right now.
He likes this situation, doesn't he, Jeremy? It's happened to him a few times before when he's been told, right, go for it. Happened to him when he was at Walker Racing, and he took that victory at Portland. It's happened to him since he's been at Penske as well.
Same place.
Yeah, that's right. And it's for a driver, it's quite a good situation to be in, because you're told, right, go for it flat out, maximum concentration, and that focuses you, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. The racing driver loves to hear that call. You go for it, and you go as fast as you possibly can. The fastest lap of the race that time, 61 flat.
Yeah, very quick again. Let's see what the gap's up to. It's nearly 10 seconds now between Gilles de Ferran and Jimmy Vasser in second. You're looking at Tony Kanaan, who runs in fourth position. And Tony's managed to get past Paul Tracy.
What happened there? I don't know what happened there.
No, quite. He managed to get past Paul Tracy. I didn't see that. I was too busy concentrating on the gap between the legs. But Tracy perhaps also backing off a little bit, trying to save fuel. Kanaan definitely will have to make another stop. Perhaps that's what we're going to see as we go through this race. Different choice on strategies and people going at quite different paces. Look at our leader. Way, way ahead of anyone else, but he does have to make another stop. As we look back, wait for Jimmy Vasser. Nearly 10 seconds until he comes through. Juan Montoya in third place at the moment, just shadowing his teammate Jimmy Vasser as Gilles de Ferran continues to pull away up front to 60.7 on that last lap.
Yeah.
And the gap between the top two, let's just see what it is as he comes around this time. It was around 10 seconds, and it's now 13.7 seconds, so that just shows you how quick. And Long Beach, he had a fairly spectacular, fiery exit. Elkhart Lake as well, he was in great shape, retired from that one. Then St. Louis last time out, an engine failure when he had a very comfortable lead. Today, this was what happened when he was in the pits earlier, stalled the engine, and that's not put him out of the race, but it has dropped him several places.
Yeah, it has, and there's Tony Kanaan, who's got past Juan Montoya, so Tony, no question, Tony Kanaan is going for it. He knows the Mercedes-Benz engine doesn't have quite the fuel consumption of some of these other guys, so he is going for it. He's put his foot down. He knows he's going to have to make another pit stop, and it looks like Juan Montoya, amongst other people, is going to try and nurse that car to the finish.
A big advantage, but you know, it's all very well to look at that, but we don't know what's going to happen in this race. And I think we're going to see some big changes to positions before the checkered flag because of these different strategies. Fernandez will feature up there, and I think Andretti could still well feature higher up the order. He's down in 9th place at the moment, but pretty good in terms of fuel, or should be, to make it to the end. Not as much of a struggle as some of the others. Now Marquez has stopped.
Oh,
what a
that's
shame.
A shame. He was running in 10th place. He'd worked his way up past Alex Tagliani within the last... he passed him actually on lap 66, so 7 laps ago. He's done a really nice job.
Tagliani now coming under pressure here from the greeny-yellow car of Oriol Servia, the Spaniard. It's gone full course yellow. Now this is interesting. It is yellow. We surely will see some pit stops coming up now as the car of Tarso Marquez has stopped at the side of the road. They need to bring out the caution, and we'll see whether Gilles de Ferran takes advantage of this to come into the pits. Is this the right moment for him to come in?
Certainly, this actually not. He needs to get in fast. Yes, it's too early for him. He doesn't want to have to make his pit stop this soon. That's a shame for him. Certainly bad news. We'll see whether the other guys can catch up before he gets out of the pits. As long as they don't lift off too much, and there's no need to until they're held up behind the pace car, then they will be able to make... Oh no, Gilles de Ferran is out of the pit lane.
Yeah, but he's got the pit lane speed limit.
Here comes Jimmy Vasser now. I think, yeah, Vasser is going to get past him. but everybody else has slowed back down. We see Tony Kanaan, we knew he had to make a pit stop. He is into the pit lane. The two Ganassi cars, though, are off and running.
Look at the leaders coming through. Here comes Jimmy, and he will come out ahead of De Ferran here. De Ferran will come out of the pit lane just around that point, but Jimmy definitely goes ahead. But Jimmy will, we think, still have to stop, of course. Tony Kanaan comes in.
Reset your meter.
That's interesting. Obviously, Chip Ganassi team reckons otherwise. They reckon their guys must be. They must reckon that their guys can get to the finish without making another pit stop. It's absolutely amazing. It would be tremendous fuel consumption able to do so. Jimmy Vasser actually came in on lap 51. His teammate Juan Montoya in on lap 50, and I think they're going to need a bit more caution. But they obviously reckon no such problem. I think he's going to be able to breeze past on the straights, Ben.
Yes, and looks the top two there. De Ferran's rejoined in third with plenty of trouble to run flat out to the end, whereas Vasser and Montoya are still busy saving fuel to try and make it to the 100-lap mark on the amount of fuel in the car. Looking at Ganassi's statistics over the last few years, a remarkable run. 4 championships in a row, of course, and out of 178 starts, they've had 30 poles and 33 victories. I wonder if that run's going to continue. Of course, they've had a lot more DNFs this year, different equipment this season, and they have certainly suffered in terms of their remarkable finishing record from previous years. And next year they won't have either of these two drivers. Sure enough, they'll have some good drivers in the team, but they're also losing some key members of the team in terms of administration and engineering.
Just listen to Juan Montoya. They're hardly using any revs at all. They're keeping the revs way down by doing that. Of course, he's running in a very high gear, using absolutely no fuel at all, hardly. Just coasting around. And look at that. Hear that? Accelerating.
The pace car light's gone out, that's why, Jeremy.
That's why he had to shift up the gear there to make sure he didn't lose up too much ground. Look at the marbles there on the road. Look at the marbles off to the left-hand side there as well as the screen. A lot of excess rubber there just thrown off the tyres as they fly down that straight up with 180 miles an hour. And
great run for you, Tarso, but won't put you out.
Unfortunately, the transmission of the car stopped us early in the race, and it's a shame because the car was really good.
Australia, and hope you have another great run. Thanks.
Tarso Marquez, best run of the season. Montoya nearly lost it there trying to warm the tyres up. You see that? And he got completely crossed up, but he managed to get it back. That required all of his famous car control. And if that had been a lesser driver, he would have ended in the wall then, but he managed to sort it out, and they're getting ready to take the green. Cold tyres, and this is where Montoya can be so impressive. Here they come out of the final corner, and they will take the green flag. Now, Montoya trying to make the most of those cold tyres as Gilles de Ferran slots in third place. Paul Tracy is in fourth. Castroneves is in fifth place. Fittipaldi followed by Fernandez next up, and De Ferran trying to stay out of trouble. That's the key thing here in this group of cars. He's got to try and